They thought nobody saw what they did, 3 boys. Big. Loud. Popular, and a girl. In a wheelchair, face down. Books scattered. Tears rising, but someone was watching, a quiet black girl sitting at the back of the cafeteria, and 30 minutes later, she did something nobody expected. This is Black Untold Stories, where we uncover what others try to silence. Before we dive in, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments. It was 12:47 p.m. Lunch period. The cafeteria buzzed like a hive, laughter, trays clattering, sneakers squeaking. That's when Emily rolled in, Emily Johnson. 17, paralyzed waist down. She was born with spina bifida but never missed a class. Bright eyes. Kind soul. Always said hi, even to the ones who never replied. She had just picked up her lunch when they came in. Logan. Bryce. Tyler, varsity jackets. Grins that screamed cruelty. They walked straight past her, then, bump, her wheelchair jerked. The tray flipped, and then, they kicked one wheel. Emily tipped sideways and crashed to the floor. Laughter, phones. No one helped. At the last table by the wall sat someone else. Her name was Naomi Reeves, 16. Dark-skinned. Soft-spoken. Always with headphones on, people called her the Shadow Girl. Not because she was scary, but because she was. Invisible, but Naomi saw everything. She saw the look in Emily's eyes, not pain. Not fear. But shame. She saw Logan laugh and high-five Bryce. She saw phones raised, but no one pressed record, just in case it got them in trouble. Naomi didn't stand up, she didn't shout, she didn't even blink, she just took off one earbud, and quietly pulled out her phone. In her backpack, Naomi had something the boys didn't know about, a tiny spy cam, meant for her film class documentary. It had been clipped to her hoodie all day. Recording, and it captured everything, the shove. The fall. The laughter, the teachers pretending not to see, the students pretending not to care. Naomi slipped into the library, found a computer, and uploaded the footage, not to TikTok. Not to Instagram, but to the school's official student network, under one title, What Happens When No One Helps. It spread like wildfire. By 1:32 p.m., 146 views. By 1:44 p.m., over 1,000. By 2:10 p.m., Principal Martin stormed into the cafeteria holding a printout. Logan. Bryce. Tyler, called out. Pulled aside. Parents notified, and Naomi, she just put her earbud back in. And kept eating, but what nobody knew was this: Naomi wasn't done yet. What she did next wouldn't just shake the school, it would make national headlines. If you believe one quiet voice can change the world, like this video, share it with someone who needs courage today, and hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. It wasn't supposed to go viral. Naomi just wanted the truth out, no captions. No fancy edits. Just a raw, 38-second video, a girl shoved out of her wheelchair, a room full of eyes that turned away, and a school culture that rewarded silence. But within 1 hour, it hit 20,000 views. By the time the final bell rang, the school's Wi-Fi was crawling. Everyone had seen it. Teachers whispered. Students stared. Some looked at Naomi with curiosity. Others with fear, and a few with something close to respect. But Naomi didn't smile. She didn't feel powerful. She felt nervous, because while the bullies were being dragged into the office, she knew how this school really worked. Punish the loud ones. Ignore the quiet truth-tellers. And Naomi? She had just made a lot of noise, her phone buzzed, private message, that took guts. Thank you. Another one, I saw what they did to her. I froze. I'm sorry. One by one, anonymous students messaged her, not because they were brave, but because Naomi had been. That's when she realized something. This wasn't just about Emily, this was about everyone who'd ever been humiliated and left alone. At 5:13 p.m., Naomi posted again, a simple black background with white text, if you were ever bullied in this school, and no one helped. Tell your story. Hashtag no more silence. She hit post, went to bed, woke up to chaos. By morning, over 83 students had used the hashtag, some posted anonymously, some used voice filters, one even recorded a hallway video from 4 years ago, a smaller kid shoved into a locker, another shared a screenshot of complaints emailed to the vice principal, ignored for months. Suddenly, what Naomi started became a movement, and the school couldn't hide anymore. At lunch, Emily returned. She didn't roll in through the side entrance, she came straight through the center doors, head high, new braces on her arms, and beside her was Naomi. The whole cafeteria went silent, not because they pitied Emily, but because they saw who was with her, Naomi. Hoodie up, earbuds in, walking like she didn't owe anyone an explanation, but she was done being invisible. She sat with Emily, pulled out her phone, and hit record. The principal called an emergency assembly, said the school would not tolerate bullying. Said they encouraged all students to come forward. Said they were proud of the bravery shown. But everyone knew, they weren't reacting out of pride, they were reacting because someone made it impossible to ignore. The real question was, what would Naomi do next? Because while the school scrambled to save face, Naomi found something in her locker she wasn't supposed to see, a note. No name. No handwriting. Just one sentence. You weren't supposed to record that. Naomi folded it. Slid it into her pocket, didn't flinch. Didn't panic, but her eyes, they were burning with one truth. This wasn't just about bullying anymore, it was about a system that protected the wrong people, and if they thought she was done, they were wrong, because Naomi had one more story to tell, and this time, it would expose everything. Naomi knew fear, she had felt it most of her life, fear of being called too quiet, of standing out, of standing up, but this was something new. That note didn't come from just any student, it came from someone on the inside. You weren't supposed to record that. That meant someone knew she had been filming before the push. Someone who didn't want the truth out, someone who wasn't just trying to protect the bullies, but the system that kept them safe. At first, Naomi brushed it off, but then, it happened again. Her locker, trashed, her books, gone, her flash drive, snapped in half, and on the inside wall of the locker, scribbled in red marker, "Stop digging." By the end of the day, Naomi had counted 6 emails from unknown accounts, threatening her to delete the video, 3 classmates who suddenly wouldn't look her in the eye, and one teacher, Ms. Caldwell, who used to smile at her in the hallway, now avoided her completely. Something was off, something was bigger than just 3 boys and a cruel prank. And Naomi knew, this school was hiding something. That night, Naomi went digging. She searched the school's policy on harassment. Turns out, there had been 26 reports of bullying in the last 3 years. Guess how many resulted in action? 2, and both were minor, detentions for disruptive behavior. But here's where it gets darker. Out of those 26 reports, 18 were submitted by Black or disabled students. Every single one of them was either ignored, or marked as insufficient evidence. And the administrator who signed off on most of them, Vice Principal Dunn, the same man who gave Logan, Bryce, and Tyler a verbal warning, and called it a teachable moment. So Naomi made a decision. If they wanted her silent, she'd make noise in a language they couldn't ignore: data, facts, and evidence. She dug up files, screenshots, archived posts, anonymous testimonials from students who had been bullied and gaslighted. Naomi was building a case, but there was one file she couldn't access, one folder, locked behind a staff login, labeled Incident 43, Cafeteria, May 2020. She had never heard of it. No one had, but that title, it haunted her, because under the notes section, she saw a single sentence, involving a student in a wheelchair. Resolved internally. May 2020, 3 years before Emily, same place. Same story, and nobody had ever heard a word about it. Until now. The next morning, Naomi skipped class. She waited outside the staff lounge. At exactly 8:12 a.m., the janitor opened the door to take out trash. Naomi slipped in behind him. Quiet. Steady, there, on the staff computer, unlocked for less than 30 seconds, she moved fast. Search bar, Incident 43. The file opened, and what she saw stole her breath. There was video. Grainy, but clear enough, a girl. Different from Emily. In a wheelchair, same cafeteria. Same kind of shove, only this time, she hit her head, blood. Panic, and a staff member, Vice Principal Dunn, dragging her away before help arrived. No ambulance was ever called, no report ever filed. No justice ever served, and that girl, transferred. Naomi clicked download. But the screen froze, then, click, the staff room door behind her. Shut, locked, footsteps. She turned, and standing in the doorway, Vice Principal Dunn. He didn't say a word. Vice Principal Dunn just stood there, blocking the only way out. His face wasn't angry. It was calm. Too calm, like someone who had cleaned up messes before. Naomi closed the laptop slowly. Her heartbeat echoed in her ears. The video file was still stuck on downloading. 27% complete. You're not in trouble, Dunn finally said. His voice was low. Even. Like a threat disguised as kindness. I just want to talk. But Naomi didn't believe him, not after what she'd just seen, not after learning that another girl, just like Emily, had been silenced. So she did the only thing she could think of. She unplugged the flash drive mid-download, slid it into her hoodie pocket, and backed away. You don't understand what you're playing with, Naomi, he said, stepping closer. That file wasn't meant to be seen. It was handled legally. Naomi's voice was steady. What happened to her? Dunn didn't answer, so Naomi kept going. You moved her, didn't you? Pressured her family to transfer. Swept it under the rug. Still. Silence. She took one more step back. Then Dunn tried something new. I can help you, Naomi. You're smart. You have potential. You could be something. She stared at him. You mean I could belong, if I stay quiet? A smirk crept across his lips. You said it. Not me. That was the final straw. Naomi didn't say another word. She stepped past him, slow, deliberate, opened the door, walked straight to the journalism teacher's office. Mr. Carter had always encouraged student truth-telling. She handed him the flash drive and said, "This doesn't belong in a locker. It belongs in the light." Then she walked out. That evening, Naomi sat on her bed as the video played on her school's official media channel. This time, it wasn't anonymous. It had a title, It had her name, Naomi Reeves. Why I refused to stay silent. In it, she spoke clearly. I didn't want to become the center of anything. I just wanted justice. But when people in power protect cruelty, then silence becomes permission. This school has silenced disabled students. Black students. Quiet students, and now, the silence ends. She attached both videos, Emily's and the 2020 incident, and a timeline of all the ignored reports. By 10:15 p.m., the video had over 150,000 views. #Justice for Emily was trending, emails were flooding the school board, but the most surprising reaction came from the inside: teachers, coaches, even staff members started speaking out. One of them anonymously sent Naomi a folder titled, "Internal Complaints, Suppressed." In it were messages, warnings, even official HR letters ignored or buried by Dunn and his team. Naomi realized, this wasn't just a school problem, it was a system built on convenience, silence, and shame, and the more she dug, the more dangerous it became. That night, at 12:37 a.m., Naomi's phone lit up, unknown number. "Careful, Naomi. You're making enemies." She blocked it, didn't flinch, then received an email, from an address she didn't recognize. No subject, no body text, just one attachment, a photo, zoomed in. Grainy. But clear enough, it was Naomi, sitting in the cafeteria, but the photo wasn't from that day, it was from 3 weeks ago, before anything started. Subscribe to Black Untold Stories right now so you don't miss the ending, because soon, we find out who's really been watching her all along. Naomi stared at the photo, it chilled her more than the threats. The locker vandalism, or even Vice Principal Dunn, it wasn't just a picture, it was a warning, a reminder, we saw you before you ever saw us. But who was we, and how long had they been watching? The next morning, the school felt off. No morning announcements, no bell, security guards at every door, and an emergency PTA meeting was scheduled for 3 p.m. But Naomi, she was done waiting for permission. She walked into the library and logged into a private server used by student council leaders. Thanks to a tip from the anonymous whistleblower staffer, she had a temporary password. There, hidden in folders titled Archive and Policy Notes, she found something she never expected. A list, a long one, names of students, dates, short summaries of incidents that were never reported to parents or public records. But worse, each entry had a risk rating beside it: green, yellow, red, and Naomi, her name was highlighted red. 2 days after she uploaded the video of Emily, one entry read, "Monitor closely. Influence high. Must be handled quietly." This wasn't about protecting students, it was about controlling narratives. The school had created an unofficial watch list of problematic students, mostly black, disabled, poor, or outspoken, students like Emily, students like Naomi, and now, Naomi had evidence of it all. By the time 3 p.m. came around, the auditorium was packed: parents, teachers, cameras, news crews had arrived after Naomi's video went viral. Naomi stepped up to the podium. She wasn't invited, she wasn't even on the agenda, but when she walked up, nobody stopped her, because they all knew, this wasn't a student rebellion, it was an exposure. She took a deep breath, and then, she spoke. "I didn't come here to tear down a school, I came here because I believed in truth. But this school doesn't have a bullying problem, it has a cover-up culture." She projected the list, names, incidents, the color-coded ratings. She showed the 2 videos, she read from emails, she named the vice principal, and then she paused. "My name was red tagged 2 days ago, not because I'm dangerous, but because I dared to speak. The room erupted. One parent screamed, "Is this true?" Another demanded the principal resign. Teachers who had been quiet for years finally spoke up. Naomi didn't stay to watch the chaos unfold. She walked out, past the cameras, past the guards, past Dunn's office, now empty, straight into the sunlight, and standing at the gate, Emily, with tears in her eyes. They hugged, and for the first time. Naomi smiled. 1 month later, Vice Principal Dunn was removed and is under investigation. The school district launched a full inquiry into ignored abuse cases. A student-led coalition called Project No More Silence was formed, led by Naomi and Emily. The school now has a new policy: all reports must be answered publicly within 48 hours. And Naomi, she's still quiet, still wears her hoodie, still eats lunch at the last table near the wall, but now, when she walks through the hall, no one dares to call her invisible. Subscribe to Black Untold Stories for more powerful stories just like this. And if you've ever felt silenced, remember this: your voice might be quiet, but when it's honest, it echoes forever. Where are you? Watching from, let Naomi's story travel far.